This is Forbidden Frut, The Temptation of Edward Cullen, Chapter 2, Edward.
And, Vincent, or whatever your name is, thanks for the lame review. You total D. No one is making you read this fic. If you don't like it, then leave. Clestel Zodiac and Brittany J. Thanks for the advice on my character, but she's not a Mary Sue. She's not perfect. Look, she has anger problems, and she looks the way she does for a reason. I will explain it as the story goes on.
Chapter 2, Edward. The anger faded from my sapphire eyes. Whatever, I said sweatily. I didn't mean to yell and beride. Thou art too boatiful for that, he said, and for once I didn't feel like cop-dropping the guy for paying me a compliment. Instead, I just smiled. I'm Edward Cullen, he murmured. Who are thee? I'll tan Tiana Loren, but you can call me Tiana, or maybe Tia, I said, feeling shy at the way he was looking at me. I had seen that look in so many male eyes, but never quite as intense or sexy. His eyes burned like hot gold velvet in the midday sun, like peonix feathers and rainbows, so gold and magical. Thou reminds me of bygone times, he said, carefully retching out a shaking hand and brushing my cheek. Thy face is like an old painting. Thou is exceptional. You're not so shanky yourself, but I couldn't help noticing you have a freaking GF, you ass. I saw you with her in the cafeteria. I notched his hand hard with my long black nails. Thee did notice me then? He purred with a sly grin. I was up against the wall with his face right close to me now. He wanted to sex me, I could tell, and suddenly he was kissing me. I felt like my slim legs would break in half and my heart expanded like a big balloon. I felt his hand sliding softly down my neck and underneath my top. He stroked my breast for a few minutes, and his man-carrot standing in action and hard as a rock against my legs. And he ripped my top and pulled it off from me and doped it on the floor. We made out for 10 minutes, and then he tried to take off my bra, but I pushed him away suddenly, thinking, WTF, Tia, are you just going to let this total stranger take your cloths off in school where anyone could see you? I'd never let a guy kiss me before or touch me, and suddenly I was letting this cheating sicko with a freaking GF grope me just because he was uber hot with sexoid hair and cold as death. I was acting like a biatch and a slut, and I was suddenly very ashamed of my actions. Bastard! Never touch me again! I gasped. If thou thinkst thou can keep thou hands of me, he answered all smug, and I couldn't believe how he made me feel so angry and so aroused at the same time. At that moment, I'd never hated any boy more in my whole life, and the worst part of it he was so freaking hot, I was totally creaming my panties, and he knew it. This was horrible. I felt disguised with myself and turned to leave. Wait! I need to speak to thee! I know your secret, Tia, he said in a quiet voice, gasping into my eyes. You're one of my kind. Who made thee? Are you part of a coven or on thou own? What? Is said sharply. Dude, you're insane, and you freaking smell. He didn't really smell, but I didn't know what else to say. Die, a campfire, Tia, a vampire, but why can't I read thou mind? I thought Bella was the only one, but here thou are! What does this all mean? He punched the wall with his buckly fist and shouted suddenly furious, and his eyes flickered red. I schlepped him hard across the face and tried to leave, but he caught my waist, and as I struggled and tried to hit him again, he caught my hand in midair and hammed me against the wall, where his hand had already made a huge dint in the wall. His face was blunt and right heavy in mine. My knee came up hard against his massive, throbbing giggle stick between his legs, and he drubbed over in pain. I broke free and goaded my books and started rugging away to math, but Edward Hand finished with me. Tia! No! He screamed after me, tearing his shirt of himself in fury and throwing it over my eyes. I lost my sight and was behind me, breathing into my ears. I'm sorry, Tia, he whimpered sadly, picking me up off the floor and gazing mutely into my eyes. I didn't mean to rut thee. I'm so contemptuous. I apologize. This is just so weird. You're so freaking weird, you mean? I snapped whitely as he lay on the floor, so hot and crying with his shirt off with his piffling body. I wanted to forgive him for calling me a vampire. Vampire! I heard that one before from preppy losers asking if I sleep in a coffin and suck butt like the stat just because I like eyeliner and listen to Linkin Park, and making fun of me and trying to force me against the wall and maybe plunder my crevices, but I didn't. I left him crying on the floor and went to find my class. As I entered math class, I suddenly dropped my box again as a flashing pain burned in my left hand as my birthmark glinted gold for a second. No joke! Then I fell over. The pain was suddenly gone, and some weirdo blonde freak called Eric was helping me up and staring at me like a pervo rapist. I kicked him in the shoulder. Kung Fu, babby! As he gazed longingly after me, in his frickin' dreams. I sat down at the back of the class, unable to think about anything but my weird encounter with Edward Cullen, wondering what it could all mean. A.N.
What do you guys think? Please, R&R. Big shout out to my friend Abigail. Good luck for tomorrow. Did you see I put the man carrot thing in? Wow. After love to Tiffy and Raj and Zeki Baby, of course. Love you guys so much. XXX Becky Mac.